Hello, this is Jason Cresswell from Ask Now, Access South Korea Now. Our website is www.asknow.ca, and today I'm going to explain to you the E2 visa process for teaching in Korea. There have been a lot of changes in the last few months since December 15, 2007, and a lot of confusion over the visa process, so I'm going to try to clear that up for you a bit. So we're going to walk through the visa process from start to finish. When starting the process, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you have all of your documents ready so that when you do start your visa process, you'll be ready to go. This should really be done before you do even an interview with a school to make sure that you have everything ready. So the first thing obviously you need is your degree. As everybody knows, you need your bachelor's or a BSc. The next thing you want to make sure you have are 2 copies of your sealed transcripts. It's very important that the transcripts are sealed in the original envelope, not opened, and usually it should be stamped at the back of the envelope. If you do open the transcripts, then immigration is going to deny them, so don't even bother sending them. Make sure they're sealed in that envelope with the stamp on the back. And the reason we say that you should get 2 is because depending on where you are, most of the Canadian consulates require a set of transcripts. So what you're going to be doing is be sending 1 set to Korea and keeping 1 set, and you're going to be using those in your home country. Not all consulates require them, but a lot of them do, and you'd rather be safe than sorry. So the next thing you're going to do after that is get your criminal background check with an apostle, or if you're in Canada, you're going to get the Korean consulate to notarize that. I'm going to go over that in detail in a couple of minutes. The other thing you're going to need, obviously, if you're going to be traveling, is your passport. If you have a passport that's a little bit older, should have at least about 6 months left on it. For most countries, that's the requirement. And if not, then you should be ordering a new passport. So these kind of things should be in your possession before you even start thinking about going for an interview. After that, you're also going to need a health form. What it is a self-evaluation health form. You can get this at our website on our visa page. You can download it there. What happens is you fill it out. It just asks a few basic health questions, and then after that, when you arrive in Korea, within 90 days, you will have a health check, and we'll go over that in a little bit as well. After that, you'll just need some passport pictures. You should get at least 4 of them. You're going to be using them in several different places, so get some passport size pictures. Once you have those documents gathered, it's time to move on to the next step. So let's talk about your criminal background check. This seems to be the area that's giving people the most amount of difficulty, and on our end slowing down the process the most for people. So, the criminal background check. First thing you need to know is it shouldn't be any more than 3 months old. If it's more than 3 months old, they're not going to accept it. So it's got to be at the most 3 months old, which makes it a little bit tight because of the whole time of the visa process. The next thing you need to know is it's not just the criminal background check they want to have it apostilled. And that's some word that most of us haven't heard. I didn't hear it before this. But what is an apostle? Basically, several countries got together and said they need some kind of proof, a format to transfer documents from one country to another and show that they are in fact legal documents. So they've come up with this apostle system, and most countries are a part of it. Amongst the countries that teach in Korea, Canada is the only one that doesn't use it. So for everybody else, you'll need to get an apostle stamp, and usually there are government agencies that can do this quite cheaply. Usually in the United States, it's usually under $10, and that's kind of the price across the board. Some places it's a little bit more expensive. But on our website, if you click on the criminal check link, we have a list of everywhere that you can get the apostle taken care of, and a breakdown of how to do it from each country depending on where you're from. So it's very important that once you get the criminal background check, you get this stamp on it. Now if you're Canadian, it's a different process. For Canadians, For most of the country, this is where it gets confusing, Vancouver is different. So in Canada there are 3 consulates. There's the Vancouver consulate, the Toronto consulate, and the Montreal consulate. And they all kind of have their own rules. But basically in the Toronto and Montreal consulate, at this time, what they are requiring for Canadians is a VSS, which is the Vulnerable Sector Search. So this is more of an intense search for people who are working with children. This might change, maybe they might change it so that they don't require the VSS, but at this time they're requiring it, except for the Vancouver consulate. So you get the criminal background check, but you also have to request the Vulnerable Sector Search. Once you get this, then you have to bring it to a notary public to get it verified. From there, you have to bring it to the Korean consulate for them to put their seal of approval on it, because Canada doesn't participate in the Apostle system. So it's a little more confusing. Now again, in Vancouver, they don't require that you go to a notary public first, they just require that you send it to them to get stamped. This is all explained on our visa page, so don't worry about memorizing this. The basic outline is, get your VSS, get it notarized, and you must get it notarized at the Korean consulate. This is going to cost you $2.20. If you live far away from the consulate, what you do is you can mail it to them, you put in a self-addressed stamped envelope that you prepay, and they'll mail it back to you. And again, all this information is on the website, so this is just an outline. Check out the website for more information. The next thing that I'll explain is the medical check. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, you're going to get off the website a form that you fill in yourself. It asks several questions. Do you have any communicable diseases? Do you have any drug problems? Do you have any mental illnesses, etc., etc.? So you check off this form and you put it in your package when you send it to Korea. What's going to happen is once you arrive in Korea, within 90 days you have to visit a Korean hospital for a medical check. And they're basically looking for 2 main things. 1, communicable diseases, and 2, drug use. A lot of people, are nervous about the test, nervous about the hospitals, but don't be nervous about that. It's no different than if you were back home. So now we're going to fast forward to the next part of the process. We're going to assume that you've had an interview with a school, that they've offered you the contract, that you've accepted the contract, and that now it is time to send your documents. What you're going to do is you can look at the website for the checklist of the items to send. You're going to put that all in a FedEx package, and you're either going to send it to the school, or if you're working with a recruiter, they might have a different address for you to send it to. So you send all that material to Korea. What's going to happen is that Immigration Korea is going to take the information, they're going to take your package, they're going to go through it, they're going to check your degree, they're going to check your transcripts, which are in a sealed envelope, I hope, and they're going to issue a visa confirmation number. So during this time you're going to be waiting. It takes a few days for your package to get to Korea, and then it takes a few days for it to get into immigration. Now it depends on how busy they are, so they're going to spend a few days with it, and once they approve everything, then they're going to issue a visa number, or in the case of public schools, they issue a notice of appointment. So your recruiter or your school is going to send you this visa confirmation number, and that will bring you to the next step.